DJ Omega here with a review of the Chauvet DMX 40B DMX controller. Before we start, a simple disclaimer. This is an independent review and all the comments made in this video do not reflect the views of Chauvet. I am not trying to sell any of this gear and I am not getting paid to do this. I am making this to hopefully help other DJs make the best informed decisions when spending their money on DJ related gear. Please subscribe so you won't miss future video reviews, and feel free to comment and ask questions. The DMX 40B is a universal intelligent lighting controller. It allows you to control up to 12 fixtures composed of 16 channels each and up to 240 programmable scenes. 6 chase banks can contain up to 240 steps composed of saved scenes and in any order. Programs can be triggered by music, MIDI, automatically, or manually. Channel assignments can be reprogrammed for ease of controlling different fixtures. On the surface, you will find various programming tools such as 8 universal channel sliders, quick access scanner and scene buttons, and an LED display indicator for easier navigation of controls and menu functions. Taking a look at the front of the unit, you can see on the left hand side is where you can select the up to 12 scanners or any DMX lighting. Right next to that you have a strobe function, which is one of the reasons why I got this unit. It allows you to plug in your strobes in the back, and I'll show you the connection there, and trigger it off this button. It also has a fog button, so you can hook up, and I'll show you in the back again where you hook that up, a Chauvet fogging effect, and you can trigger that fog right from your DMX controller as opposed to having to go to another switch. Moving along the unit here, you have 8 sliders, and then you have a button on this side here called the page select, and then you can page between page A and page B, and what that allows you to do is if your fixture has more than 8 effects, you can go to page B and then you will run from 9 through 16. Okay, so all on these same, so you can trigger back and forth between those two in order to get your full control. Up along the top here are where you set your scenes. So there's 8 buttons there. This is the LED display. It'll tell you what program you're in and those type of features. Also, as you slide the fader up, it'll tell you what number you're at. So if you're from 0 to 255, somewhere in between, it'll let you know that. So when you're programming, you can know where you're at along the slider in order to correspond to the proper function or program that you're looking to do with the light. This slider here is for speed, so you can control the speed of the light effects and of the speed between the scenes. And here is the fade time, so how long it takes to go from one to the next. So you have control of that anywhere from 10 minutes to 0.1 seconds for the speed, and for fade time from 0 to 30 seconds. Along the side here is where you have a lot of your function keys. You have your banks for triggering banks of chases. You have your 6 chase buttons along the side here, the bottom one being the blackout. You have a tap sync display, music bank copy. This starts to get into the programming scenes and chases. Auto delete button, MIDI add button, and program button. So that's a quick look at the front of the unit. A lot of functions there, a lot of buttons, but once you get used to it, it gives you great control over all your DMX lighting. Taking a look at the back of the unit, here you have a MIDI input port, and this is used for external triggering of banks, scenes, chases, and blackouts using a MIDI device. Right here, this little switch is a DMX polarity switch. Then you have your DMX output connector. This is how you power the unit, the DC input jack. And this is that strobe function that I was talking about. You can plug your strobe in there, and you can trigger the strobe off the front of the unit, so you don't need a separate strobe controller and things like that. So that's one of the features, reason why I looked at the Chauvet 40B. Some information here, on-off switch, And here is the plug for a fog connector. So if you have a Chauvet fog connector, IEC connector, that would go right there, and then that would allow you to trigger your fog right from your DMX controller. Nice thing I like about kind of the casing is it's a metal casing, but if you kind of look from the side, it's recessed here, so even if it's rack mounted, since this is a 19-inch rack mount, you can still put your cords in here, even if the back of your case sits right flush with your unit. So it allows you to still use the plugs. I've run into that a few issues with certain units, not DMX controllers, but mixers and things like that, that all the connectors are right along the back here, and then when you put it actually in the rack, you have a hard time plugging it in. You have to get 90-degree angle plugs and things like that, which is kind of a pain to have to run out and buy those specialty ones. So that's a look at the back of the unit. So that is a quick overview of the Chauvet DMX 40B DMX controller. It has a lot of functions that a lot of other DMX controllers have. Similar layout, I'm sure, if you look at other ones. But it also has a lot of cool features, you know, the fog button, the strobe button, some of the control features, you know, being able to grab any fixture that you want. You know, if you have something plugged in number 3, you can hit number 3, and then you have total control over that fixture. Kind of a neat feature. The other thing I like is able to reassign the channel faders. So let's say you have one light that channel 2, 3, and 4, let's say just for color, is red, green, and blue. But the next light that you have, different brand or different model, the red, green, and blue are actually sitting on 1, 2, and 3. Well, you can reassign those so they sync up, so you can sync all of them so that no matter what light, when you push up number 2, it's going to be red, number 3 is going to be green, and number 4 is going to be blue. So that's a nice feature, so you're not always having to go between lights. You say, hey, I want a red scene, boom, they're all set up for you. You hit red, everything turns red, all your different lighting turns red. So that's a pretty cool feature there, that you can reassign those, especially if you're using different brand light or you're using different fixtures that have different channels representing different functions. So you can sync those up for ease of use. So again, if you have any questions with this unit, feel free to ask. I'd be more than happy to put up more videos for you. I will in the future be hooking it up and showing some simple programming and things like that, but for right now it's just a quick overview of a DMX controller. Very affordable, very powerful, rugged case, you know, should stand the test of time. Thanks for watching.